Okay, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's February 23rd, 2022. It's 10:53 p.m. You know, I'm 80 years old, but I don't work. And when I wake up, I never know what time it is. I never know what day it is. It seems to me like it ought to be 6 a.m. in the morning or something, and it's not even midnight. Well, I just made a video the same way I'm making this one, just using the camera app with Windows, and I'm using the Avery Media USB 4K webcam, and guess that's it. So I had my monitor set in 4K, and the video that I made the one right before this that you see, or saw, or maybe will see, it took over 2 hours to upload. So even when I was making it, I think, or no, anyway, I guess when I uploaded it then in the text thing, I said, I think that this was going to be a 4K video because the file was so big. I think it was 8 gigabytes of something. I can't remember. Turns out, let's see, where is YouTube? Now I want to go to my channel. Actually says your channel. Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. I want to go down here to, a friend has sent me a 2012 MacBook Pro, and it is on the way. It's made 4 hours ago, and it's had 28 views. But it turns out but we were talking about things, hardware, and that it was just a HD, 1080, 60 frames per second video. I guess it had something to do with using the Windows, see, Windows 11, and using the camera thing to record that rather than having OBS being used or something else. I guess that the file was so big. And audio is okay. But I see that, oh, okay, that's right. Because I dragged over here the thing. 4 minutes and 9 seconds. In the video, by the way, this is a lamp up here, that goes on top of your monitor. Has a remote control switch here, and you can go through different colors, or sunlight or equivalent to sunlight, that type of thing. Both of these are LG monitors. Over here is a charger for whatever I plug into it, and here is a charger for those big batteries that a lot of things come with nowadays, the ones that are large. Then over here is I've had this for a long time. I really don't, I've never ever, I don't like complicated things. Uh, uh, it takes AA or AAA batteries, and it really, it's a nice, nice unit because it shows you the level they're charged to. It has all these things you can do to kind of recharge, a special setting to recharge a battery that's, uh, has been recharged, I guess, a lot of times or something. But I never use it. I just pop in a battery and let it charge it and then take it out when it says it's done. Here is my medications for the 23rd. And this is the 23rd. Usually I'm behind or I forget to take them. So this is just, well, this is the 23rd, and it's, in 1 hour it'll be the 24th. And I haven't taken this. One med is still left in there. And I don't even remember what this is for. I was a grown man. I was over 26 because I got married when I was 26. I couldn't swallow pills, so I'd go to the doctor and say, "Can I cut this pill in a half? Can I?" Can I get it in a liquid form or whatever? And the pharmacist would, or sometimes the pharmacist would just look at the prescription. It would be whatever it was too. I mean, it wasn't for, it wasn't for Viagra or something like that. But anyway, it'd be like, because it'd be in the doctor, I guess, had written to put it in. The pharmacist would, is this for an adult or or a child? But I remember when I was a kid and I was probably 4 or 5 years old. For one school term for kindergarten, we lived there. We had come back from California after World War II, and I didn't work in the shipyards building Liberty ships. My parents did, but I guess I had a young high school girl that took care of me, that my mother or whatever told me, "Oh, you just loved her. You just thought so much of her." I don't remember her. I wish I did. I wish I could tell you. Oh, got to tell you about when I was 5 years old, But I don't remember her at all. But anyway, so we were renting a room for that time until my parents were looking to get a house. They came back from California, and back in those days, to be patriotic, you not only did you have to either be in the military or be doing something, building Liberty ships or doing something. Not like it is nowadays. We have a ton of people who are really patriots, but none of them serve in the military, and I didn't serve in the military either. But none of these people serve in the military, but they're so patriotic, and I'm kidding, they're not patriotic, far from it. But, I mean, things have just changed. Back when World War II was going on, my father's mother and father, well, his father died in 1941. During war, but at home, he was. 2 of his boys were there. My father's brothers. 2 of them were there. All my father's brothers were in the military, and I think that was 7 of them. I think. Anyway, I have a picture here. one of my goals is to scan all those pictures and then kind of put them in order of something to kind of, and I hope I get that done before, did I say I was 80? I hope I get that done soon. But anyway, my grandfather, who I was named after, my grandfather was James Joseph Howard Sr., and then my father was James Joseph Howard Jr., and then I was James Joseph Howard III. But anyway, one of my uncles was, I think it was just one. One of them was at home from whatever, he'd gone in the, I forget which branch of the military and gone through some training, I think, and he was home, but would be going someplace. And I guess my grandfather said, "I've got a bad headache," and then slumped over, and he died. But how did I get on that subject? I have no idea. If I say that sometimes, which I say it a lot, and you think, what's going on? My father had an aneurysm later in the chest, and the doctor he went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. My father did, grown man, of course. And my father was coughing up some blood, and the ear, nose, and throat doctor said, and I forget, I don't remember the details. My parents probably didn't tell me, but that doctor said, "No, you need to see a internist, or you need this or something." And my father went to the family doctor, and the family doctor, was convinced that he had cancer. Did some tests on him, couldn't find anything. They decided that they needed to open my father's chest up and find the cancer that was undoubted, because my father smoked, Camel cigarettes, I think at least a pack a day, and I think probably twice a day. And plus he worked as a welder, I worked for years as a welder too, so the fact that I never smoked probably doesn't help me. Because I was breathing in, fumes from welding. Anyway, I went with my mother to Research Hospital, and we waited in the waiting room while they cut my father's chest open, looking at his doctor, and my mother's doctor was convinced that my father had cancer. And so they had him open. Luckily, they had a surgeon, a chest surgeon, a thoracic surgeon, to do it. But even with him, they kept cutting little pieces out of my father, and he sent it down to the lab looking for cancer. No cancer. Then they saw something, and they cut into that, and then blood went everywhere. Like a fire hydrant, blood was shooting, I guess, everywhere out. They'd cut into his mind is going. Okay, anyway, cut into the major blood vessel you don't want to cut into. And so then I'm not sure exactly what they did at that point, except they were doing what they could. But anyway, my mother's doctor and my father's doctor, he came out to the surgery waiting room, and there was a lot of other families, people there, and he came out, and his scrubs were, had blood all over me. He said to my mother, "Betty, I don't know how we could have done it. We cut into his the major artery." Then he went back in. Well, my father, of course, that didn't do him much good, I'm sure. They didn't find any cancer, and they sewed him back up. Years later, quite a few years later, my father, by that time, though, my father was, he was an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic, But years later, when my father was having difficulties, Dr. Black, that was the doctor, Dr. Black was still convinced that he had cancer. My doctor was, not my doctor, my father was really terrified of doctors and hospitals. One reason is, his wife, my mother, Betty. I called my father Jim all my life, and I called my mother Betty all my life. Anyway, he really, he was drinking all the time. I mean, not taking anything other than whiskey, no food, just whiskey. That was his food. And but he was having medical problems. Couldn't even. I think he couldn't stand up. He was. And so he went into the hospital, same hospital, Research Medical Center, and I'm not sure exactly what went on. He was in the room, and the Dr. Black decided that maybe some other doctor consulted with Dr. Black. I'm not sure. I don't know how that goes. But they decided, and I'm guessing that they went into his chest to take a small piece of bone or something so they could check for cancer or something like that. And like I said, my father was terrified of hospital, and I'm sure when they went into that bone, it'd be like, like having a tooth, where the drill's going and the smell of burning flesh or bone, and I'm sure that just my father's system just shut down, probably from terror. I never asked. Let's see, was I working at? I don't think I was working at Research Medical Center at that time in security. I was working in security, hospital security, but one of my cousins, and because my father's family, there was like 7 boys and 3 sisters, and most of them had, well, we were an exception, just me. My parents, I guess, decided, okay, we better not add to the gene pool with, we see this one, so I guess. And there was one other aunt who, she just had, 1 boy. And, but the rest followed God's order of being fertile and, filling the world with Howards. So I had a lot of cousins. I mean, I don't know how many, 60 or more cousins, a lot of cousins. But one of them happened to be a nurse or some type of technician or something. And she was in the room with my father. And so she knew exactly what happened. I never asked her. And my mother never, I don't think my mother even knew that she was, so. Anyway, they hooked my father up, to the monitors and all that type of stuff, and said that there wasn't much chance for him, or I don't know how they put it, but anyway, my Betty, my mother, said, they want to know what we want done or whatever, and I forget exactly our conversation, but I said, disconnect him. He would not, and plus 2, he couldn't stand up, he couldn't do anything, So he was disconnected. Anyway, I was telling you, my medications. This is my naproxen. I take this for my arthritis and my pain or whatever, and I have a lot. Naproxen works really well for me, and my ex-wife also, takes it for her problems or whatever. Because, it's the point where the arthritis is really bad. But the naproxen, I take one, and laying down helps too. One after I take the naproxen, and it works. I just think at my age, 80, I should be able to get some good drugs. You know, why not? Person gets, I guess unless the person does something bad, or unless it's counter indicated or something, whether you have some kind of a disease or a problem where this would, make things worse or something. But seems like I ought to get some good stuff, especially since I have never, ever, I've never smoked marijuana. I found marijuana a few times. I confiscated marijuana a few times, but I never indulged in it. I want to indulge in it. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Anyway, I have two monitors hooked up here to this system. This system is the B-Link mini monitor, mini computer, and running Windows 11. Got two speaker monitors. I'm not even going to mention the problems I had with audio because of when I got this B-Link mini computer, it just happened, and they knew right away by the time I ordered it and got it.
I'm not sure about that.
Computer off. Did I mention that I was using Alexa as the key word to get into this Amazon Alexa stuff? But I switched over to computer, and I need to post a little note here or something or other, to silence the thing, because computer, I say computer a lot doing these things.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Computer off. Computer volume 1. I think the only 4 words are Alexa, computer, Echo, and I think there's another one. I'm using the Elgato Wavelength 3 microphone, and over here on a tripod is the Avery Media USB camera. I really like it, and I like the software for it too, except quite often it does updates, and it insists on doing the updates to the software. And I mean, too often. Were they updating this thing daily or something? Over here, let's see what you see if I see when I turn this thing here. Okay. There's the culprit. Right back there. Can you see? That's the Echo. Anyway, I know this monitor looks really, it's just a regular, monitor, but now I have Chrome running there. Chrome boxes. Let me see if I can. No, I'm not going to try right now. I'm just kind of a bind here. This is printer ink. I got a new printer. This is one of the items one of many that I was sent when I was doing reviews on when I was doing reviews on Amazon until they kicked me off. I'm not sure I can say that they really kicked me off, because that would mean, wouldn't that mean sort of some type of contact with them? I had over over 1,000 reviews on Amazon. Most of them had video, and I knew there was a controversy that, in fact, I even had a few people comment on here, that I was being too generous because I admitted it, I didn't admit that, but I discussed it on my YouTube site. But I never heard anything from Amazon or anything. But I think all the people who commented thought, on my site, thought that I was cheating or whatever, because I gave too many 5 stars on my site. But anyway, at some point, somebody who was, coming to my site said, all your reviews are gone on Amazon. And I went over and checked. Sure enough, they were. And then, of course, I right away thought, okay, they've deleted it for some reason. Why didn't they say something to me? And then, of course, later on when I thought about, and I was like, I don't care. It was a lot of work. And I was giving away, when I doing the reviews, when I was sent things, to review, I gave 95% of the stuff away. I mean, I did keep like little tactical lights. Those flashlights are really nice. I probably must have received 5 or 6 of those and reviewed them all, and gave all but one away. I gave there's 2 maintenance guys that work here, and I gave each of them one. And then one of the guys mentioned to me, wow, that's really, thanks a lot, Later on he mentioned thanks a lot, He says, that's really nice and really works well and everything. And then later, I mentioned him something, is the flashlight still working? He says, he lost it or something. I just reached over when he, like he'd come over to do, check a stopped up bathroom tub or something or other, and I just gave him another one. I gave him, I gave them 2. I was sent, it was a thing. When I saw it, I thought, I could do my own, whatever you call the thing where they put a light up and the camera up your ass, I thought I could use it. And I thought, I better give this away before I get in, before I show up in the emergency room with a, camera up my ass. Anyway, it was designed to go, into places, like into a sink or something, and down. That person could look and see if there was what was in there, a root from a tree or whatever. So anyway, I gave that. I gave a lot of stuff away. I'm trying to think if I sold anything. A company did send me 2 radios, handheld radios, and I did sell those. And then I forget the name of the company, you would probably recognize. They sent me really fancy, and I think the price was like $500 or $600, maybe more. Networking stuff, and I did sell that. But that was rare. For the most part, I just gave everything away. So then later on I did, like in the beginning I thought, okay, Amazon didn't agree with me, I and I knew that I had done good videos, and I thought it was actually the way I handled it was correct. But I could see where people felt they might feel it the other way. But what was I? Oh, then later on though, I did think, why couldn't have Amazon contacted me and said, we don't explain yourself, or just said, okay, you're not able to, we're taking your videos, your reviews down, and you're not allowed to post a review. And what I would have asked is, well, could I download all my reviews? I'm not sure what they would have said, but that kind of pissed me off that that they handled it that way. But it was a lot of work doing that, and like I said, I think I really did because anything that I reviewed, like a scale, that was the first time somebody sent me I was sent a scale for weighing. And before I'd used the ones where you just stand on it and the thing goes around, with the spring or whatever. This was digital. And with my age and everything, with that thing, before I got the digital, it was like, what is it on, And got the digital, and that was really nice. But what I did, take that as an example, what I did was a year later, a year and a half later, 2 years later, when the battery went out on the thing, I would go in and alter the thing and put down, okay, I got this at such and such a time, date and time, and I had to put a new battery in, 2 years later or whatever, and then 2 years or so later, I would go in and I would add, I'd leave the other, hey, battery was changed on this battery, and I did that with other products too. And I thought that was a good thing. I mean, that was a plus, that thing that I did. If I was doing things that were negative, don't these things weigh, in there? So I did sort of, But on the other hand, I was glad that I wasn't doing it because it was taking, I'd be getting 15 or 20 or more a night because of the time zone in China and the time zone here or whatever. They'd come in, and all these things that were coming in were like, we see that you are the number one, you're the top reviewer on Amazon, and we would like you to review our product. And then after a while, it was the same thing, like you're the number one. Well, I wasn't the number. Now I was doing enough videos that I moved up to, I think it might have been, wish I could see, I wish if I could have downloaded all this stuff, I could give you better, but instead of, I think I was probably in like number 400 or something on the list of reviewers, But I sure was the number one. I asked a couple people finally, how did you people decide that I'm not the number one reviewer? How did you find that out? And a couple people said, but it's on a list that's published over here in China or whatever. So somebody, instead of being somebody over there in China, sucked into this thing of buying products from maybe the company they actually worked for to sell and get rich on, Amazon in the United States. Somebody came up with a printed and probably online list that maybe somebody paid $1 for, and you got access to it, but it added up probably that person was making more money than these people that were trying to sell products. And I pretty much was able, I didn't ask, I was pretty much able just to figure out from what these people calling and not calling, but sending an email and asking if I would, and they would, as time went on, it became, it would be like, we'll send you this product for free. Now, I never took any money. I took the product, if they, but it was like, and would you please give it, 5 stars, because if you give it less than 5 stars, our business will be destroyed or whatever. A few times I'd say, no, your business, but they were all convinced that if they got a bad review of any kind, if they got 4 stars or 3 stars or anything like that, that was going to be the end of them. What I did is I got the product. If the product was good and deserved 5 stars, I gave them 5 stars. If it was going to be 4 stars or something, I'd contact them and say, I know you want 5 stars. I can't give you 5 stars. I could give you 4 stars or something, whatever it was. And I would say, if you don't want me to publish this, I'll go ahead and not publish it. And they would say, oh, thank you very much. Please don't, please don't publish it. We would be out of, whatever. So now I think you all know probably that Amazon has people that they have picked, probably people who have done really, really good reviews, for them. But if as I understand this, if you want to sell a refrigerator or let's think of something expensive, I don't know, TV set. They're not that expensive nowadays, though, big ones. But if you want to sell it, and I don't know what the numbers are, but okay, let's say that you want to sell a refrigerator on Amazon. Well, you have to, Amazon has, I don't know how many, 50, 100, I'm guessing, and I forget what they call them, but those people, if you have a refrigerator you want to sell on Amazon, you have to send 5 of those refrigerators to, or to 5 different people, that are their reviewers on that list. And then if those people, and I'm not sure exactly, how it works, but if those people say, no, this refrigerator, the door fell off when I got it, and give a review, or the refrigerator makes a tremendous amount of noise, or the refrigerator doesn't keep food cold, or whatever it is, then Amazon is going to tell those people, I'm sorry, you can't sell on Amazon. But the refrigerators that they gave away, that's just, that's that company's, fault, loss. And so those people are, I would like to have been one of those people in that category where they would send me a boat or an airplane. I don't know if they sell airplanes on, but I'd have loved to have been one of those people. I'd have still, I think, kept the same. Well, not in that case, because those people were forced at gunpoint to send it, so I'd have just done the thing that Amazon wanted done, but not for the rest of the things. They were really inexpensive. I can't think of what they were now. Things that were sent, that I agreed, okay, I would review. And there were items that cost almost nothing. And I took that into review when and which people would have probably objected to that. I'm talking about, what would I be talking about? Some pencils, or a coloring thing maybe for little kids to use, or something. And it would be inexpensive, really, really inexpensive. And then my philosophy on that was, okay, we're not talking about a $18 space pen, Fisher space pen that, goes into orbit or whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something that costs $3 or something or other. And so I'm not going to, grade that. I'm going to say in the thing, if this was a more expensive item, then but at this, at this price, blah blah blah, and so. What's my thing for today? Well, I'm wanting. I got this Apple. Let's see, what is it? The MacBook Pro, an old one from 2012, given to me. Actually, we're trading a little bit. Being sent to me because I've never used any Apple products. So, back here is my Chromebook. When this old Apple comes in, I'm going to hook it up and use it and see what I can learn about the Apple operating system and maybe save my money and be able to get, state-of-the-art one. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a conclusion. Thank you very much for watching.
My name is James Hard, and the two guys I'm with are idiots.
It says you, Shorty.
Listen, Shorty, quit untying my shoes. Folks, he's not stooping over, he's standing up straight. That's all the farther he comes to me.
Well, can I help if you stand on my head?
These two guys, they're both nuts.
Yeah, you sure are crazy, aren't you?
Well, all three crazy wouldn't go to De La Salle Military Academy.
I know we wouldn't, but we're going there, aren't we? Ain't that awful?
Oh, way down on the river. Far, far away. Oh, I got a headache. No,
our music bother you, son?
No, brother. Contrary to the rumors, these guys are not idiots. They're just imbeciles.
Yeah, just crazy.